Okay, so a brief background about me. I'll quickly introduce myself before we deep dive into the session and the core aspect of it. So myself, Sajid, and I'm one of the founder and a mentor of Step Up Analytics. I come from a computer science background, and I have 7+ years experience in analytics, precisely in the domain of telecommunication, finance, entertainment. Uh, yeah. So the core purpose of this webinar is to make you aware of how analytics is making an impact. Okay, and we'll talk about a lot of aspects. Let's first get clear on what will be the agenda for today's discussion. Okay, so before that, guys, probably this is my fourth session with fourth batch with BHU Masters. So as a community of Step Up Analytics, we started this journey back in 2017. 17 was our first batch, 18, 19, and then this is the 20. This is the fourth batch. So so far, like what has strived us and kept us working on the motive of community effort and spreading social education is the responses which we have got from the BHU students, right? And and that's what. So Step Up Analytics works for social education. We are a member of five, six people, six mentors, and then we try to reach out. We have connections and coordinations. We coordinate with colleges and precisely colleges wherein we have stats, economics, computer science departments. Okay, where the guys which can polish them their theoretical skills in their colleges, definitely, because in theory you guys are very strong, and polishing a little bit on technical aspects, and then ready to go. That's what the approach is. So we try our best with whatever available resources that we have from industry, from the experience, from the data set, from the project. Okay, we try to bring them all and work with you guys, like, and make the learning as easy and as fast as possible. Okay, so on that note, guys, let's kickstart the session. And I always request my attendees be interactive, and if you have any questions anywhere, any point in time in this session, feel free to interrupt and ask me. That way, the session becomes very interactive, and a lot of doubts gets cleared out then and there. If in case you are not audible, or you want to speak out, you can put the questions on chat. I'm continuously reading the chat, and I'll pull the question directly from there as well, right? So how far I understand BHU, so there are two departments. One is core statistics, and the other is computing. Okay, so, and guys, I am 100% sure again, you guys are familiar with what you are learning. Okay, and what you are doing in college, wherein you are putting your effort, time, energy, okay, and money as well. The demand in today's time of stats, maths, economics has tremendously increased. uh, the thing that we used to see 10 years, 8 years back is not the same now. And that's the reason that statistically, if I share my experience with the department of Delhi University, so they say earlier, 10 years back, the percentages on which they used to lock or open stats economics department has tremendously risen to 98, 95, 99, right? Okay, this shows the demand, right? And the packages which students get post their masters in this department has seen a rise as well. Okay, and one good thing that we are observing as a data science professional uh, in today's time, in this pandemic, wherein everything is seeing its lowest. Okay, you talk about demand, supply, you talk about market, job, everything. Okay, no doubt everything has been impacted, but If we compare the job market domain wise, what I mean is, like, let's compare finance as a domain, MBA, like MBA finance as a domain. Let's talk about engineering, software development, IT services as a domain. Okay, then you talk about other aspects, and there's a sleek difference and a sleek rise that you see in a data science domain. Why I'm saying so is, all the other domains either have seen a fall, or they are not growing, they are stagnant. Either they have seen a fall where they have laid off employees, okay, there are no demands, or they are stagnant, they have not grown, okay, they have managed to keep themselves stagnant. But data side is one such domain which is still seeing a grow. Okay, so, and how is it coming to me? So we see the requirements getting posted on LinkedIn. We see a requirement getting posted on Naukri and other job portals. Okay, companies, corporates, institutions are still like striving and working and looking for to hire data professionals. Okay, so if any one of you among the attendees, if you feel, or if you think, or if you have made your mind in future you want to get into this field of analytics, data science, machine learning, or any data profession for that matter, okay, so the path will not be that difficult. So that's one good news that I would like to convey to you. Okay, uh, and the second thing is, what is changing, what is changing in terms of uh, demand from the industry, or expectation from the industry, is a person who has real experience. Okay, definitely that's a bitter truth, but that is there. So this question comes to me always, and I try to cater it in a different way, which I'll discuss in the end of the session, like how can you cater this question since you are fresh out of college and you don't have experience, because like we are not meant to have experience, right? We are studying, we are a student. So how to cater this? Okay, so how do we cater this, and how do we overcome this question and build a resume in a way that it resembles the experience, and you can get through your first job? Okay, so that's a discussion for later half of the session, but today I would like to take you briefly on topics that I have prepared a slide, small discussion on this. Okay, and post this discussion, guys, I'll show you what project based learning is, which I'm talking about. Okay, and how can it be a icebreaker for your career? And third thing that I would like to get into is some practical hands-on session. Like I have pulled up some COVID data set. Okay, COVID-19 data set. I'll do some hands-on just to make sure that how does it impact. Okay, how to go in that line, and how to take up that approach and start learning. Okay, so these are the three agenda. So let's get into like, I hope you all can see my screen, right, guys?
Yes, sir, we are able to see.
Okay, perfect. So guys, it is more of a, yeah. So talking about data analytics for beginners. Okay, so like people who are in their masters, this is the best time to gear up, because like people the companies basically look for, if they're going for uh, like academic institutes wherein they have stats, economics, maths, they'll prefer masters, okay, over bachelors. Okay, because of their learning they have done, and that practical knowledge they have gained over time. So talking about that, so in today's discussion we'll touch base on these topics. Okay, what is introduction to data analytics? Okay, statistics, like you guys are like you are doing masters in that, not to get into deep of it. Data cleaning, data visualization. Okay, some like where machine learning gets fits in the entire discussion. Okay, roles, responsibilities with salaries. This is a survey that we have pulled up from Naukri and Indeed. Okay, so we'll share that, and few hands-on with project learning system. Now, a lot of us know this, since this is a buzzword now, that like data science, we hear everybody speaking about, you talk about LinkedIn, you talk about anywhere, data science is one term that you hear of. But people, like if you ask me, or if I ask anyone of you from the batch, so it would, like, it is very difficult to explain it all. People generally end up saying that uh, that data science is a domain, but we need to understand the deeper part of it. Data science is not one profile, to be very frank. Okay, data science is a combination which covers almost 6 to 8 profile within itself. Okay, when I talk about profile, definitely a data scientist need to possess all those skills in a bits and pieces form. Okay, not necessary that you'll be mastering all the skills, but yeah, you need to understand each and every phases. So where does where does it hold true? I'll definitely share the slide. Okay, what you need to do is just go, let's quickly go and understand. So the first phase is your inquisitive phase, which is called business, like analyzing the business, so figuring it out, what the business problem is. Okay, then the second is like to figure, if you have figured out the business problem, okay, the second thing is to back up your problem. Okay, definitely everything revolves around data. You have to pull out the data. So that this is a data retrieving phase where you hit different data sources. Okay, government data sources, social data sources, research data sources, academics data sources, and pull out the uh, data from there. Okay, the third is your data preparation. Since the open source data that we have, or research data that we have, is not very sufficient to work on. Okay, it's not clean, so we need to make it bring it that in a shape so that it is in a workable form. That is data preparation. Okay, so for first thing, the first setting up research, you have a business analyst profile. Okay, a person needs to be a business analyst. He needs to understand the domain. Second and third is a data mining engineer. Okay, or a data engineer. Okay, the third is data exploration. Here comes the rule of stats. Here onwards, you bring in your statistical testing, sampling, the concept, and you start exploring the data. Then the fifth phase becomes your, again, modeling, where you implement your ML models, machine learning model, all statistical and econometrics model. And the sixth phase is when you present your data in a readable format to your executives. So this entire cycle forms the data science process. Okay, and a data scientist should possess one, like some or all these skills among these 6 skills. Any questions so far, guys? Guys, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's move ahead then. So why data analytics? Like if you just need an answer, so like I generally, when I was in IIT Kanpur, like last month, we have in a session in IIT Kanpur, and one student uh, rose this question. He said, like, and this is very obvious, like it is increasing in such a huge volume. A student can ask this question: what is the future, and how long will the demand be? So probably if I study 2 more years in my masters, and then I complete my masters, demand might fall down, and then what will I do if I prepare now? So this question is obvious, and that's the reason I have bought this slide specifically. So the question is fair, but the answer to this is, think about it from an industry perspective. Why do we think that data science, data analytics, business analytics, data engineering has emerged with this volume in past 7 to 8 years? The question, if you ask this question and see around yourself, you will get the answer. How life has changed for us. Okay, so what has dominated the industry? The industry has been dominated now with technology. Okay, technology has been driven by internet. Okay, everything you talk about, you see, anything in and around you is being digitized. Okay, like all the startups, all the big companies are moving in a way that they want to digitize, they want to convert their devices into IoT, they want to implement, they want to remove the all manual things and convert that into AI or ML thing. Okay, so and in coming days, that like in future 10, 15, 20 years, more of this will happen. More digitization, more internet, more digital devices, small devices, wearable devices will come in. Now everybody, like if the penetration of smartphone is 30% now, this penetration should increase to 80%. 80% people population of India or the world should have mobile. So with more smartphones, you'll have more internet and more data will get generated. And with the emergence of this data, wherein you have people using so many devices, more of a data will be generated and more opportunity will be there. Okay, so this should answer your question, why data analytics. Now what is data analytics? It's a combination of business and your technical skills. So what we are trying to do now is like exploration of data analysis. So basically we are fitting in here, wherein we want to understand how technically we should mold ourselves to answer business questions. Okay, this comes with business and work experience definitely, and in combination, try to be a part of a data science profession. Okay, now quickly let's get into who can be into this analytics field. So people who have these three skills in three segregated form will be able to make out in terms of technology. Okay, so why I briefly explain this into three phases, because it's very easy to understand. So one, if you remember that first and second phase of the data science process was all about data understanding and data gathering. So you need to have any tool and technology which can help you pull the data and store the data. So the best in industry is MySQL. Okay, then comes your analyze. So you have a lot of profiles open profiles, a lot of opportunities here. Okay, you need a lot of people here, and a lot of our theory understanding like stats, economic, computer science gets implemented here. Okay, so you need to learn some tools like Python, R. These are the two tools, and Python is dominating the industry to analyze the data. And then the report thing, any more advanced reporting tool you pull out. Talk about Tableau, which is dominating the market, which we can see if we have time today. Tableau is dominating the market. So what I understand from here is this is definitely one skill that will by default come, because everything revolves around data. Now, other thing that you should think is analyze Python and create report Tableau. If you get hold of this two tool, okay, you are good to start. Okay, so like I understand, like what was the language that you have learned in your masters? Can anyone tell me?
We learned R, sir.
R. Okay. And did you got hold of MATLAB or something like that?
No, so we got into SAS after that.
R and SAS, great. So R, SAS, and Python. So SAS is getting obsolete, guys. To be very frank, don't concentrate on SAS. If you think about R and Python, if you get hold and a very workable knowledge of these two tools, okay, and you put this in your resume, okay, with some projects and like some sort of experience which we'll discuss now, this will be a big win situation for you. Okay, now coming to your reporting thing. So why I'm emphasizing more on report basically is you talk about any top 10 analytical boutique company. So when I say analytical boutique company, it means a company which does hardcore analytics, not a service based company which does everything and you are not sure your future is secure, right? So that's the reason I'm talking about top 10 analytical boutique company. So in that case, if you put in your resume, if you put that you have a workable knowledge of Tableau or Python, you are having a good and easy way ahead. Okay, so data analyst skill. Next thing is you need to have a statistics. So already you are having data cleaning. People generally are confused, but believe me, data cleaning consumes your 70%, 60 to 70% effort of your work. Okay, even if you like when we get into a project, okay, and we work on a project, you will realize that implementing a ML model is just two lines of code. Okay, majority of the time an effort, and if you have worked on any project, you'll realize data cleaning and EDA consumes most of your time. Okay, data visualization is a tool that let's like Tableau, but acquiring this four combination skill, uh, clubbing it makes you a data science profession. So let's get into roles and responsibilities quickly, because we need to see the hands-on as well. So in roles and responsibilities, you as a individual need to decide where is your interest, guys. And I recommend this to everyone. If you at all you have been like looking for a job into this analytics field, please be precise on what actually you are aiming for. Where is your interest? Is your interest, are you, if you are a stats, definitely your interest will be in the field of predicting models, creating models. So here is your interest. Okay, and make sure you lie here. You get and clear this. Then if you are someone who are very technically strong, guys, if somebody is scrubbing on the screen, please stop it, because it is yours video that will get you'll get hampered. I see someone scrubbing through the screen. Can you just do Control Z and wipe this out? Okay, so fine. Okay, so just decide on this. This I leave up to you. Sorry. Yeah. So this is just a base packages. It ranges from 4 to 6. I have given the base range. In India, if you are a fresher and if you want to land a job in a decent company or a startup, this is somewhere minimum you can expect. Okay, but again, 4 to 6 is what I have seen, but I have just put 4 here, and this number is coming from your Indeed job portal. Okay, now like how familiar you guys are in Python? Have you explored Python, and what is it different from R? Anyone, if you can share your experience.
So Python is more about object-oriented programming kind of thing.
Okay, object oriented. And how does it like if I'm talking about Python and R, so I'm completely focused and in line with data side of it, not the object side of it.
आवाज नहीं आ रही है. हाँ 2 मिनट. तुम्हारा तो नाम ही नहीं आ रहा पार्टिसिपेंट में.
Hello. Yeah, somebody was asking any questions, I guess. Hello. Fine. So let's talk about advantages of Python. So no doubt, Python and R, they are working in parallel. But the why Python is winning the race is because of its easiness. Okay, and it's the flexibility that it provides in implementing and productionizing something. So R is good in local, but when it comes to make something live, wherein productionizing the model or working in a large data set, okay, Python wins the situation because R is what is a RAM specific tool. It uses a lot of RAM, so it is resource expensive, whereas Python is not, and that's the reason it is winning the race. So I just pulled out few numbers from LinkedIn and your Indeed, and you see the demand of, if you talk about data science skill, Python is leading the market, is leading the demand, and followed by R, and then you have SQL, big data, and everything. Okay, so this is one proof that should embrace you or force you to pick up Python with whatever time you have now. Okay, so let me go ahead quickly, guys, and these were some of the trends in it. And if you are planning to pull up Python, so try and pull up Anaconda, because Anaconda is a distribution of Python which is made for data science only. Okay, so it's the subtitle of Anaconda says made by data scientist for data scientist. So go for Anaconda. Okay, now coming to our, this was all theory and what we see in the market, what demand we have, and how to go about it. But how to make ourselves imbibed to the requirement and the demand. Okay, so the answer to this is, guys, project based learning. Okay, a lot of programming YouTube videos and a lot of Udemy courses, those are there, no, undoubtedly, and that will be there, and in coming days there will be more such things. But what you need to like after in your masters, wherein you are just in a midway of stepping into industry, and to be, if I'll be honest to you, industry is a little crucial. I mean, like, it is a little harsh as well. They expect something from you, so the target is how to meet up the expectation. So in current time, whatever time you have, like in this pandemic when everything is shut and you are at home, okay, so spend your time and energy in working on projects. Only learning R or only learning Python would not help that much to you. But if you learn, if you involve your learning with a project thing, those will be a icebreaker. Okay, so let me quickly take you through one few advantages. We'll take a break for 2 minutes, guys. Okay, and then we can join. I'll just mute myself.
Like version difference can change a lot of things. That way I
Yeah,
was.
so basically, see, a version, there are subversions. Okay, so version plays an important role. From 2.7 to 3.7, there are a lot of differences. But what we are talking,
Yes.
3.7, 3.6, this is subversion. Okay, subversion does not play that important role.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, perfect. So now, guys, this project-based learning, what is this all about? So this is all about giving you a real understanding what data is, what can you do with the data, how should you look at the data, and what should you report. Okay, the entire cycle of the data science. Okay, so at the end of this course, when you work on 2-3 projects, okay, you'll be able to build this or develop this data intuition. We call this data intuition because in today, like if I give you a raw data set, okay, whether you are in first year, second or third year, irrespective of that, if I give you a raw data set and I tell you, boss, drive some insight from this, so now it becomes really difficult. I mean, like, what is insight for you? Okay, and how should you look at the columns, the values, the rows, what are the initial checks? Okay, those are very unknown now. Okay, if you get into 1, 2, 3 projects, you will get the direction. Yeah, boss, when I get the raw data set, these are the preliminary steps that I need to take. These are the code that I need to do, coding in Python I need to do. Then I get to a step wherein I have some preliminary understanding of the data set. That is a data intuition. Okay, now project based learning, so this is done for two purposes. The first purpose is when you build a project, okay, you get a, like, in and out of the problem. So you have a business problem, let's say COVID-19. Okay, COVID, you got a raw data set, and COVID, you need to figure out the problem. The problem is the people are getting affected, people are dying. This is a business problem, big problem. Okay, so the second step is, like, you got the raw data set, you're trying to understand, clean the data, and get all the columns fit and fine. The third step will be you are doing some basic checks and analysis and getting into the state wise number of cases and trying to understand the trend each state is having. Okay, fourth step will be the advanced step wherein you do some forecasting, and you are sitting in the month of August, you are trying to forecast the month of October. Like if today we have 65,000 cases per day, in October it can be 85,000 or 95,000 per day. Okay, and when you reach in October, you see your forecasting was right, wrong, up to the mark, not up to the mark. Okay, so this is end-to-end project for you. Okay, this is one thing you got this learning. And the second thing is you can put this in your resume. Okay, your resume, your LinkedIn, you are building your profile and portfolio. Okay, you can tell somebody who is asking you that you have not only learned Python programming for data science, you have worked on a couple of projects. Okay, that is the confidence that will come in. Okay, and the thirdly, the how part. Okay, and I really want you to think about it, because this is something will come from you. It will not come from me or other mentors who will be teaching you, who will be taking your sessions. No, you have time now. Okay, spend the time, think about it. Are you interested in uh, which is that field, area, domain, industry that attracts you? Okay, what I mean is basically, if that particular industry data, if I give you now, you can sit till 3 a.m. in the morning and keep on debugging and thinking about the data. Okay, it's not like it's boring. Yeah, I give it to you now and in half an hour you fall off to sleep. That is boring. So you need to figure out, like, is it entertainment which attracts you, finance, telecommunication, retail? Okay, there are so many industry in across. So you need to figure out your interest area. Okay, so that is your project based learning. Fine, guys, are we all good? Any questions so far?
No, sir.
No,
you,
sir.
you should be having some questions here. No questions? Fine. So now I'll just what I'll do is I'll quickly get into this project based learning was one thing. Now let me get into the like capability. Okay, so that you understand like how easy. Don't get into the proper coding and syntax, because for now it will be difficult for you. What I want is the motive is just to make you feel that this can be easily done by you with some practices and few hours of effort. Okay, so if you all see my screen, I have a notebook, KU demo session. Okay, and I have just put down a couple of points which I'll take you through the demo session in Python and Tableau, and then basic packages which I've imported. Forget about it. You'll understand this far better than me in few days. Okay, but now I'm just importing a data set. The data set, as I said you, it's a COVID data set. Okay, I'll run this. So the data, see here in one line of code, PD, read CSV, my data is of CSV format, and I imported the data set. I'll check if my data set is imported or not. So I see head of it. Yeah, it is imported. So I have date, time, territory, state origin territory, confirmed nationals, confirmed foreign nationals, cured deaths, and confirmed. These are the columns I have. Let me check the tail. So head will show you the top and tail will show the bottom. So yeah, I have same. So the latest data that I have is of 11th of August. So today is your 15th of August. So probably 4 days old data I have. Okay, so if you match this Bengal number, so this data is coming from the government agency, COVID-19india.org. Okay, so this data is quite structured. Okay, if you match this number with just Google it, so the number should be near about this only. It should be exactly same, not near about, because all the news channels, all the media agencies are reporting this number only. Okay, so in total we have 2,100 deaths till 11th of August. This many confirmed cases were recorded in Bengal, 98,400 cases, and this many people got cured. Okay, now if I need to just think about it, if I need to calculate cured percentage, okay, how many people got cured? What will be my formula? Guys, anyone?
Cured by confirmed into 100.
Cured by confirmed into 100. So let's create a new column. I'll just add one more column here, which will be like recovered. Let's say the column name will be recovered. Percentage. Recovered underscore percentage. So the formula is straightforward. It will be my cured. I just copy it for the sake of convenience. I don't want to type a lot. Cured by confirmed. Okay, and the entire thing should be into 100, right? Into 100, into 100. So let's run this. So now we should have this column in my table. So I have this recovered percentage here. So Bengal have a recovery rate of 71.4%. Cool. We did a quick understanding. Now, as a part of data cleaning, we see a lot of blank columns. We see a redundant column, which is time, all the time are same. We see SNO, which is just a row number. So if you remove all these columns, so this is a part of your data cleaning. This becomes your data cleaning thing, right? Now let us look into capability of Python. So one area where Python is I mean, like, it is rocking and becoming one of the favorite for everyone is visualization, interactive visualization, wherein you can visualize the data, like someone who is not very comfortable with numbers and wants to see a visual representation of the numbers. This Python is becoming very famous in that sector of people. Okay, so I'll use one advanced plotting package in Python. We'll get into the detail, but for now, let me just get into I just want to do what I want to pull out. Let's say, let me first take one state. So I'll talk about Maharashtra. Okay, not all the state. So for Maharashtra, I just filter out the data. So I want Maharashtra. Just RASHTRA, Maharashtra. Just point me if my spelling is wrong, because yeah. So just filter out Maharashtra. DF state or union territory is equal to Maharashtra. Okay. Fine, guys. So I'll have just Maharashtra data here, df underscore Maharashtra. If I do .t, so rather than all the states, I'll just have a Maharashtra data. See here, I want to see how over time Maharashtra, the confirmed cases or number of deaths in Maharashtra, because since it's topping the chart in cases, we want to understand what is the trend. Has it always been like this, or it is increased now, something like that. So I'll just plot the Maharashtra data. In x-axis, I want to have date wise. I want to see how many people, let's see how, like, what is the confirmed cases in y-axis. So I'll write y is equal to this. Y is equal to this. Confirmed. Let me run this. So you see, you get a very sweet, simple graph. And I told you, right, it's very interactive. You see, it is showing an upward trend all together till date. And it is interactive. You mean wherever you hover, you'll get the data. See here, you have the data set. Let's try and make it a little more fancy. And intuitive as well. I'll just change the color with confirmed cases. So I want to see the index of confirmed cases. So I'll do this, and let me give a title as well. Title confirmed cases in Maharashtra. Now let's run this. So you get a very intuitive graph. You get an index here. See here, you get an index which shows yellow is the highest, and then you get a chart. So the confirmed cases chart has never seen any ups and down. It is only showing a up direction, which is not good, Okay, now let's try and understand if we see the active cases has active cases. So how will we calculate active cases, guys? Any idea? If I want to see what is the active case in Bengal or Maharashtra, what will be my approach? Anyone?
Total
Confirmed
confirmed case minus
Confirmed man.
So good, good. So you mean active? I want to calculate active cases. So what is the formula you're saying? It is confirmed DF
Confirmed minus deaths and the cure.
confirmed minus deaths minus cured.
The death cases and the cure cases.
Exactly. So it will be death cases minus cured cases. This will give me number of active cases. That means how many active patients, COVID patients are there in my state. That's what it will give me, right? So let's run this. So see, the idea of this hands-on session is, right, to make you realize it's just a single one line of code and we are doing a lot of things, right, in a single line of code. DF Maharashtra dot head. See here, I got number of, I'll do just to tail to understand my West Bengal state. Okay, so see my active cases are here. So in Bengal, sorry, this is only Maharashtra. Okay, I can do this for other as well. So now let's see in Maharashtra as of 11th of August, I had 1,48,000 active cases. Right, so this is a big number, right? So let's try to build another plot wherein I want to see the active cases. Is it always increasing? It is decreasing, increasing, या फिर क्या? What is the story there? So I will just pull out active cases. Date wise, I want to see active cases, and color should be changing with active cases. Okay, and active cases in Maharashtra. I'll change everything. Let me plot this. So now, okay, so the story is a little different. Now in Maharashtra, luckily by God grace, so everything was increasing. See here, active cases. We saw some falls in between, small falls, but overall it was increasing. But now from few days, so probably from 27th of July, we see the curve has flattened. So they have been having control on this active cases in Maharashtra. So, and one more flexibility apart from this pop-up and interactive, you can zoom it. So just whichever part you want to see, just select that and leave it. Okay, so now you have a zoomed version of that section. See here, they have seen a fall here in this section, then again rise, again fall, and that way. So this is the capability, guys, which I wanted to explain you. Okay, I hope it made a lot of sense. And then I'll come back to the courses that I have planned, the Step Up Analytics community has planned for KU students, undergraduate students. Is this okay? I hope you all have the link. Okay, you can. I'll put the link on the chat as well. Just go through this. So what we have planned is keeping in mind that a student has no programming background. Okay. Starting from the software installation and everything will be taken care of. Like from the very basics of programming, we'll go into intermediate level of programming, and then from intermediate level, we'll start working on the projects. Okay. So in the project, what we'll do is we'll take very easy project where you get hands-on how to import the data, how to work with the data. Okay. And how to make insight. Then some advanced, and there will be 3 projects, very easy, intermediate, and advanced. So the advanced project that you will do, that is a certification project, and you'll get certified with that project. So this entire course is a certification course, and you get certified with that project. Once you submit the output with the help of a mentor, you'll get certified for that. Okay, so these are the 2 projects. One project is in how COVID-19 has impacted the real estate business in India. Okay, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Gurgaon, how it is impacted the retail business. And the second one is customer analytics, e-retailer campaign data, where a company like Amazon has done some campaign and how the customer has responded to it campaign, how we need to do some analytics on that. So there are 2 full-time projects which we'll do. Okay, it's a 1 month course which is starting next Saturday. Okay, and it will go till 13th of September. Weekend program Saturday and Sunday. Okay, 2 hours on Saturday, 2 hours on Sunday. Saturday weekend program, 1 month. And since this is a community effort in collaboration, okay, and we are doing this community effort to upskill students from stats, economics, maths, and computer science department. We have tried to keep it as minimum as we can. Okay, it is just 100,000 rupees. That's it. Any question, guys? So the last date for registration is 21st of August. That is a Friday, coming Friday. Any questions that we have, and then I can answer that. Please feel free to ask me.
So actually, will you provide any recorded video?
Yeah. So sorry. So in this entire session will get recorded. Okay. All the 16 hours plus project hours too will get recorded. And once you register, right? So you'll get this view material option. All the recordings will be uploaded there. All the materials, presentation, code, notebook, data will be uploaded in the portal. So you'll have access to that recordings and materials always. Okay, if in case somehow you was not able to attend 1 or 2 sessions, don't worry, you will not miss the session. Everything will get recorded. You can follow that recording afterward. Okay, guys.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Just go through this link. Okay, start registering, and once we see that we are our capacity is full, we'll close the recording. Though the last date is Friday. Okay, I would suggest because since we have some bottleneck on number of people that we can take. Okay. Okay, so fine, guys. So see you again from we are starting on from 22nd of August. So see you all on 22nd August. Feel free. I have already shared the link to register the course. If you have any questions as such, which was not answered or you have doubt, please ping me. So we have this common number. Ping us in this group. We'll try ping us. This is a WhatsApp number. Call me on this number, or ping me on this number. I'll try to resolve your question if you have any. Okay, and the recording of the session will I'll try to send this recording as well for people who were not able to attend this webinar. Can go through this recording and let's leverage it.